Now, the first S in the 6S learning system. So there are 6 key words or key principles that we're going to go through. And I can tell you that the first S is something that we can all tap into, but most of us probably don't. One of the most susceptible clients you can work with, is a child from the ages of 8 to 12. A child from the ages of 8 to 12 typically hasn't developed any cynicism yet. They're not overly skeptical, and they accept a lot of authority, and they have a tendency to accept what you say as truth as well. And so, if you have a child, now when I said working with friends and family members are probably the toughest clients, the exception is if your friend or family member is a child from the ages of 8 to 12. That's generally okay. But when you work with children, there's something you'll see that children do. How fast do children typically learn, do you think? Pretty fast, right? Like super fast. You take a 7-year-old to a foreign country for 3 months, and that child comes back, and you have an adult go to that same country for 3 months. Who do you think is going to speak the language more fluently? The kid, the child will. Because children have a way of learning now. There is some, I guess their brain's in a certain developmental stage that we as adults can't tap into. There is some physiology that we just can't tap into. But there's also some things that children do that we can tap into, but many of us don't. Children are great at finding ways to have fun. You put a child in a room with just a block. They'll find a way to make a game of that. They'll always find a way to have fun. Children learn the best, and they learn a lot faster because they find ways of having fun. And anytime you enjoy something, you are going to take it in much deeper. You're going to learn it much better. And so, children, if you're working with a child, let's say Tommy is 8, and you say to Tommy, I want you to get excited for me. You go, okay. Can I keep going? Yeah, sure. And he'll keep going. It is rare that you'll get a child that will sit there and go, why? But if you're working with Tom, who's a 36-year-old man, and you say, Tom, get excited for me. Probably going to go, no, you get excited first. Probably the last one to get excited yet. I'm going to sit back and wait and see if everyone else gets excited first, and I'm not going to be the first idiot that gets excited. And so sometimes we get into our adult persona. Now, our adult persona obviously works for us in a lot of areas in our life. Helps us be a parent, pay the taxes, keep a job, all those sorts of responsible things that we do. However, some people have moved into their adult persona and they've shut the door on the ability to get into that child persona. They're like, I don't get on the floor now that I'm an adult. I don't get on the floor and play with my kids now that I'm an adult. I don't go and make sandcastles at the beach now that I'm an adult. And some people have these limiting beliefs, and those limiting beliefs can stop them from actually learning more effectively. The first S in the 6S learning system is to be able to get into a childlike state. So the first S, I guess you write that in, is state. If you can get into a childlike state, now that doesn't mean you need to actually get on the floor and play with toys, it doesn't mean you need to go to the beach and make sandcastles, but just if you can find ways of having fun, if you can get into a more fun state, more childlike state, you will actually increase your learning potential. And here's a quick tip for you. I want you to all think of one of your favourite childhood games or toys. And I want you to write down on the top of your page or at the bottom of your page some sort of word that would remind you of one of your favourite childhood games or toys. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I want you to write down a favourite childhood game or toy. One of them, maybe it was a location, something you used to enjoy doing as a child, from the ages of 5 to 15, somewhere around there. I want you to write something down. Just quickly write something down. It doesn't need to be the favourite, just something you used to enjoy as a child. Okay. So I'm not sure whether you noticed this, but the energy in the room rose then. When you're all talking about you're wide-eyed, there are smiles, more animated, because any time you think about a past moment, part of that emotion affects you in the present moment. And so if you're thinking about that past fun thing you used to do, you're into a fun state right now. And so that's one way of helping you get into a more fun-like state. Now if you get into a childlike state as often as you can over the next weekend or even any time you need to learn, you'll increase your learning potential much faster. You'll take in a lot of the information a lot deeper as well. Anytime you are good at something, if you think about what you're really good at in your life, there's a good chance you're good at it is because you enjoyed it. You enjoyed learning. You enjoyed doing it back in the early days. And so having fun or taking fun in something is part of that process.